The movie starts with a guy named Kosuke Mizushima getting ready and shining his shoes because he has plans for the day. Then, his two friends visit him and tell him that the bride is ready. Next, the movie takes us back to 10 years ago when Kosuke was still in high school. He becomes friends with two nerdy students, Akiyama Kadom and Sujimura Kazuki. At school, a female teacher scolds him for his messy hair, but instead of getting in trouble, Kosuke manages to charm the teacher. In class, he makes a disruptive joke and is made to sit facing the back wall. Later, he is asked to sit in front of one of the smartest drills in class, Mage is, and Me is told to help him study. The next day, during a math lesson, Mage forgets her textbook and is about to accept punishment. When Kosuke, sitting in front of her, gives her his textbook, he takes the punishment and sits at the back of the class. After lunch, Mage thanks Kosuke for helping her and asks why he doesn't pay attention. In class, Kosuke finds studying boring, which annoys Mage, causing her to leave. The next day, Kosuke heads to school early to practice martial arts with his sporty friend Kento. On the way, he meets Mage, who's also early. They chat, and Kosuke realizes Mage isn't as quiet as he thought and is actually fun to talk to. Mage takes an interest in Kosuke and helps him study, making sure he stays focused in class. She gives him math practice questions and a book to improve his understanding. That night, Kosuke struggles with the math, but the next day, Mage helps him correct his mistakes and teaches him the right steps. Kosuke starts studying hard and eventually scores well on the math exam thanks to Mage's help. Mage is proud to have helped Kosuke, who was once considered one of the least smart and laziest students in class. Mage and Kosuke began studying together after school. One day, Kosuke, feeling confident, challenged Mage to see who could get the highest rank in the semester exam. They agreed that the winner could ask anything from the loser. Mage accepted the challenge, and both of them became more active in their studies. Sometimes Kosuke teased Mage when she was focused on studying, but she ignored it. The day of the exam results arrived. As expected, Mage ranked second best, while Kosuke didn't even make it to the top 10. According to their agreement, Kosuke had to fulfill Mage's request to cut his long hair since he lost. Mage was shocked when Kosuke became bald but couldn't help laughing because he looked even more adorable. Kosuke's friends were surprised too and playfully touched his head. Kosuke and his four friends were sitting when Mage and her friend, Odako Komatsubara, walked by. Kosuke was amazed by Mage's beauty, especially her new bangs and hairstyle. It was at that moment that Kosuke realized he had fallen in love with Mage. One day, before their lesson began, a local police officer came to their class. There was a report of vandalism and theft in the school, and the police suspected it happened before 7 o'clock in the morning. So their teacher decided to check students who arrived at school before 7. Kosuke got upset because he felt their teacher didn't trust them. He threw his back down at other students, including Mage, did the same. Kosuke, Kento, and some other students, including Mage, who came to school early, were punished by standing in the hallway. Kosuke made fun of Mage when she cried after being punished for the first time. Months later, on graduation day, Mage gave a moving speech as the student representative, leaving everyone touched. Kosuke comforted Mage when she expressed her worries about going to college far away. He wiped away her tears with his shirt. When Mage got accepted into a university in Tokyo, Kosuke drove her to the train station. As a parting gift, he gave her a white t-shirt with the words, "You are the apple of my eye," printed on it. With a heartfelt goodbye, they parted ways. Meanwhile, Kosuke got into a university in their city and studied culture. Kosuke and Mei stayed in touch through phone calls. Mei told Kosuke that she was living with Otoko, who was also attending the same university. A few months later, during summer vacation, Mei decided to visit her hometown to meet Kosuke. They spent time together, visiting different places. During their time together, Mei asked Kosuke why he liked her. Kosuke's answer disappointed Mei because she was expecting a serious response. Feeling let down, Mei left Kosuke, making him think that she didn't like him. Later on, Mei and Kosuke planned to release lanterns together. Kosuke admitted that he liked Mei without expecting anything in return because he was afraid of being rejected. Mei, on the other hand, wanted to express her love for Kosuke, but gave up after hearing his words. At some point, Kosuke organized a fight night event at his college and invited Mei, hoping to impress her with his physical abilities. However, Mei wasn't impressed at all. She thought Kosuke was acting childish by hurting himself. This led to a big argument, and Kosuke left Mei in the pouring rain. After that incident, Mei and Kosuke stopped communicating and went their separate ways. 2 years later, Japan experienced an earthquake. Worried about Mei, Kosuke quickly called her to check if she was okay. Interestingly, Mei was also planning to call Kosuke to see how he was doing. During their conversation, Kosuke asked Mei about her feelings and why she had turned down dating him before. Mei explained that at that time, she wasn't ready for a romantic relationship with Kosuke for various reasons. As they talked on the phone for a long time, Kosuke and Mei sadly realized that they weren't meant to be a couple. Mei expressed her gratitude to Kosuke for loving her and being there for her during her school days. Years later, Kosuke became a well-known web novel writer. One day, Mei called him to share the news of her upcoming wedding and invited him to attend. Kosuke planned to go to Mei's wedding with Ikiyama and Subimura. When When Kosuke saw Mei in her wedding dress, he was struck by her beauty. Despite their past, he was genuinely happy for her, even if they couldn't be together. At the wedding, Mei's old school friends marveled at how their past feelings had evolved into deep friendships. During the congratulatory gathering, Kento and others joked about kissing the bride. Mei's husband teased that they should kiss him first. Without hesitation, Kosuke surprised everyone by playfully kissing the groom instead, reflecting on his regrets about their past fight and how things might have been different if he had apologized. Meanwhile, Mei reminisced about her feelings for Kosuke and her wish to always be with him. She had even written her wish on a lantern. The movie concludes with Kosuke starting to write a web novel about his experiences with Mei.